Hello everyone, welcome to this online class for level 4 students. Okay, so to start we're going to talk about what this level is about. So level 4 is an upper intermediate level. It means that you are not beginners anymore, you're not intermediate students anymore, but you are about to become advanced students. So as such, we expect you to really be independent and autonomous in your learning. Okay, so to start, we're going to talk about the scheme of work. It is the syllabus that you're going to have in this level 4 level. Alright, so the first topic we're going to have, as you can see on the slide, the scheme of work is communications. The first topic is communications. The second is medicine. The third is culture. Alright, so now I'm going to give you the grammatical structures you're going to deal with in this level. So we're going to start with all the tenses, review of all tenses, with the presentation of the future continuous and the future perfect. I don't know if you have already heard about that, but even if you haven't, it's not a problem because we're going to start presenting those tenses in level 4. After that, we're going to have the passive. And when we're going to start dealing with medicine topic, we're going to deal with reporting, meaning the reported speech, which is a review because you have already done that, and verb patterns. So verb patterns, I remind you, is about the ing form versus the infinitive forms. Okay, after verb patterns, we have phrasal verbs, as you can see in the table, and when we deal with culture, we're going to have, as grammatical structures accompanying it, is third conditional and mixed conditional, and also the past probability. But of course, before talking about the third and the mixed conditionals, we have to review the first and the second conditionals, of course. And it is also the same with past probability. Before moving on to past probability, we have to review the present probability. Okay, so these are the topics and the structures we're going to deal with in level 4. Okay, now let's talk about the exam. At the exam, just like in level 3, you have use of English, reading, writing, and listening. Okay, and fortunately for you, in this level we do not have oral interview, but it doesn't mean that you don't need to practice your oral skills. You need to practice it because it is a necessity, but also you have to be ready to communicate a lot in level 5. Alright, now we're going to talk about the importance of personal work. I told you that level 4 is an upper intermediate level and we expect you to do a lot of personal work. We expect you to do a lot of research. We expect you to be responsible for your learning. Alright, so personal work. Personal work can be done in many different ways, in many possible ways without spending money. The first thing you can do is to do a lot of listening exercises at home. How can you do that? By listening to the BBC, of course, or by listening to music. If you love English songs, of course, it should be easy for you. But when talking about English songs, we also talk about lyrics. So you should try to get the lyrics of the songs that you like most. Okay. Try to understand them, okay? Check the meanings of words. Don't be content with singing. Make sure you understand what the songs are about. Okay, you can also keep a diary every day and write it in English, of course. A diary doesn't have to be personal, doesn't have to be about your emotions, but it can be about your opinions. It can be about your days. Like, for example, you went to class today, you went to university, you went to work, what happened during that day, you talk about that, and you also give, for example, some criticisms about how things are going on in life. If you're interested in politics, for example, you can choose to talk about that. You can also choose to talk about the latest news. You can talk about anything. And it's not only for girls, because everyone has got an opinion on something. So try to do it. And reading, of course, is very important. Some people find the reading boring, but I really advise you to do some reading as often as possible. If it's really difficult for you because you are busy or because you find it boring, try to have access to things that you find interesting. Okay, like if you like love stories, try to get some love stories. If you are interested in cars, try to find articles about cars, for example, on the net or stuff like that. Okay, try to get things that interest you, because if you don't find it interesting, you get bored and you will give up, and that is a big problem. Okay, still talking about reading. If you are really busy, you can just set some time every day for your reading, like 5 minutes every day, or 1 chapter every day if you're reading a novel, or 15 minutes every day. Don't force yourself, just do it little by little. What is dangerous at your level is not to do anything. So always try to do something every day. We go step by step. Okay, so these are 4 very simple things that you can do every day to improve your English. It is to read for 15 minutes every day, for example, to listen to the BBC for 15 minutes too. You set the time yourselves, okay? And to write something every day, okay? And the last thing is write something every day, listen to something, but also if it is possible for you to join an English club, go there to practice your English. But you can also organize some meetings with your friends, with your classmates, with people who learn English like you, and organize some speaking activities just to have a conversation in English. Okay, for more practical tips on how to improve learning, to improve English at home, is by surrounding yourself with English. Surrounding yourself in English is to do everything in English if it is possible. You can start by thinking in English, because the problem of most students is they think in French and they translate their thinking into English. It's time consuming and it makes your sentence structures very bad. Okay, second thing you can also do is to make English friends if it is possible, to meet native speakers. For that you really have to force it. You really have to create situations in which you are forced to use your English with native speakers. So you can go to foreign bars or restaurants. You can also join some sport or social clubs, okay? Or you can also arrange some language exchanges. Okay, third thing you can do is to find study partners. I'm sure that many of us have friends who are also learning English like us. So arrange some meetings, just like what I said before. Have a meeting with your classmates in order to speak English for some time. After that, you can use authentic materials. Use authentic materials, like try to read texts which are written for native speakers. They are much more difficult, of course, but they will be a challenge, because it is the real thing, and it will also make your learning more interesting, because you can see that you have a level that you have to reach, that you have to work for in order to attain. Because if something is too easy for you, it's not motivating, because you seem to think in that case that you have nothing to learn anymore. So try to use authentic, which means difficult, materials. After that, you can set yourself realistic goals. Later you can go back to the written version of what I'm saying if you cannot follow now. So I said, set yourself realistic goals. Like for example, realistic goals would be, I would like to learn 5 vocabulary items every week. That's very realistic. Okay, don't be too ambitious, because if you're too ambitious, you'll be demotivated and you will give up. Okay, so one thing at a time. All right, next, you should give yourself a reason for studying. Like, ask yourself, why am I learning English? Because if you don't know why, maybe you're wasting your time. Okay, especially if you are learning English because, for example, your parents are forcing you to learn English. It means that you're not motivated enough, and if you're not motivated enough, it's very difficult for you to make progress. Okay, so try to find some reason for studying. After that, listen to real English. Before I talked about listening to the BBC. That's one step, okay? But if you really want to move forward, if you want to progress in this, you'll have to make some effort, for example, in trying to find movies in English, or to really get programs, TV programs in English, in order to really listen to the real thing and to get used to the real thing. And next, find fun ways to learn new words. Find fun ways to learn new words. There are many different ways for you to learn your vocabulary. Make it fun. For example, by making a list of vocabulary items, and by sticking them on your bedroom walls where you can see them every day, or use them in funny sentences. Use them by talking about your real life. That will make it easy for you to remember them when you're talking about your real life, your real experience, or when you're talking about something funny. And next is, you should learn about the culture. You should learn about the culture. The language cannot be separated from the culture. When you learn the language, you have to learn the culture, because you have to know the people you're communicating with, because they have different ways of thinking as well as speaking, and thinking and speaking always go together. So inform yourselves on that. And last piece of advice for today is, whatever you do, have fun. Learning a language takes a lot of effort, but you'll be more likely to stick to it and to continue and to persevere if you are enjoying yourselves. All right? Okay.